Have you ever felt like you're down to your very last resource with nowhere left to turn? It's a feeling of desperation many of us can relate to. Today, we're diving into a powerful ancient story that speaks directly to this feeling, offering profound lessons on compassion, faith, and the incredible power of community. It's the story of the prophet Elijah and the widow of Zarephath, and its message is more relevant today than ever before. Imagine a land gripped by a severe famine. There's no rain, crops have failed, and people are starving. In a small town called Zarephath, a widow is outside gathering a few sticks. This isn't for a warm fire, it's to cook one final meager meal for herself and her son. She has accepted their fate. After this last meal, they expect to die. It's a scene of absolute hopelessness. Just then, a stranger approaches her. It's the prophet Elijah, also on the run and in need. He asks her for a simple drink of water, which she is willing to give. But then he makes a much bolder request. Please, bring me a piece of bread. The widow's response is heart-wrenching. She explains she has nothing baked, only a handful of flour in a jar and a little olive oil in a jug. She was just about to use it all for one last meal before she and her son perish. Her situation couldn't be more dire. This is where the story takes a turn that defies all logic. Elijah tells her not to be afraid. He instructs her to go home and make a small loaf of bread for him first, and then make something for herself and her son. He follows this seemingly unreasonable request with a divine promise, for this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. The jar of flour will not be used up, and the jug of oil will not run dry until the day the Lord sends rain on the land. Think about the choice she faced. A stranger is asking for the very last bit of food she has. Every rational thought would tell her to refuse. Yet, in her desperation, she chooses faith over fear. She trusts the prophet's words and does exactly as he asks. She makes him a small cake first, and the miracle unfolds. Just as Elijah promised, her jar of flour never emptied, and her jug of oil never ran dry, for the entire duration of the famine. She, her son, and Elijah had enough to eat. Her single act of sacrificial giving, rooted in faith, led to an abundance she could never have imagined. So, what can we, in our modern, complex society, learn from this ancient narrative? The lessons are incredibly powerful. First, it's a story about compassion and community support. Elijah didn't ignore the widow's suffering. He approached her. In our own communities, this is a call to action. We need to build and support systems that care for the vulnerable, food banks, shelters, and mental health services. It encourages us to foster a culture of volunteerism where we actively look for ways to help those facing crises. It's about seeing a need and choosing to engage, not to look away. Second, it teaches us about faith in difficult times. The widow's situation was utterly hopeless, yet she chose to trust. This is a powerful reminder for us. When we face our own famines, be it financial hardship, personal loss, or emotional struggles, it's easy to despair. This story encourages us to find sources of hope and resilience. Creating supportive spaces where people can share their struggles and lift each other up is vital. It's about holding onto faith, whatever that looks like for you, even when the circumstances seem impossible. Third, the story champions the idea of sacrificial giving. The widow gave from her scarcity, not her abundance. This challenges our modern view of charity. We often think about giving what's extra, what's left over. But her example calls us to a deeper generosity. It reminds us that every small act of selflessness, every contribution of time, money, or resources adds up to create something much larger. It's about promoting a spirit where we all contribute to the collective good, knowing our small part makes a huge difference. Finally, the miraculous provision highlights the power of collective effort. God provided, but it was through the widow's action and Elijah's faith. This shows that when we come together, amazing things can happen. In our society, this means collaborating with local organizations to tackle big problems like food insecurity and poverty. We can start community gardens, support local co-ops, and build neighborhood alliances. Sharing stories of these successful initiatives inspires more people to join in, creating a ripple effect of positive change. The story of Elijah and the widow isn't just an old tale. It's a blueprint for building stronger, more compassionate, and resilient communities. It teaches us that even in our darkest moments, an act of faith, a gesture of compassion, or a moment of selfless giving can unlock unforeseen blessings and transform a situation of scarcity into one of abundance. It reminds us that we are all connected, and that by looking out for one another, we can overcome even the most severe droughts in our lives. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please like this video, share it with someone who might need to hear this message, and subscribe for more content that inspires. See you next time.